Shalom. I hope everyone's having a great day. Um, I'm doing this just in audio form, just to see, if I decide to have it be longer, maybe it will take up less data. I don't really know. But enough about all this technical stuff. I wanted to start some movie videos about particular movies I feel are overlooked. Bird on a Wire is one of those. Bird on a I believe it came out in the summer of 1990. I saw it in theaters, and stars. There's an actor in it actually named Stephen Tobolowsky, and I've interviewed him, and it just didn't come up. I really feel like I should have talked to him more about Bird on a Wire, because he plays a character similar to his character in Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I believe both are Universal. No, one was Warner Brothers picture, and one was a Universal picture, such as Bird on a Wire. Bird on a Wire has a really, really cool credit sequence and closing sequence. Great song by Aaron Neville in the closing sequence called Like a Bird on a Wire. Or beautiful, beautiful song. Everyone that's ever heard Aaron Neville sing knows he's got a wonderful voice and some wonderful lyrics to the song. Bird on a Wire. And then, the beginning sequence, they did the Dawning of an Age of Aquarius song. And it's sung in a really cool manner. It's like David Carradine either getting out of jail or getting out of somewhere. I don't know where he's doing, but like Bill Duke is straight up like his driver and enforcer, and he's picking him up and in this cool ass, just a really cool scene. Rest in peace to David Carradine. He does a really good job, the two of them combining, along with others, just using Stephen Tobolowsky and others in the film, combining to make a really villainous, governmental type thing coming after the Mel Gibson character. So I really like the villainous. I don't really even say that they're villains all that much. I mean, you could spin this movie around to being a real, where they're the heroes. And I think that's an interesting take on things. Now, this movie, wouldn't be worth it to do anything like that because though it made money, I think it made almost 100 million back in 1990. It cost probably about, I'm just eyeballing it, but I think probably about 40 million. So it was a hit, but it wasn't like, there definitely was profits to go around. And this John Badham. John Badham, one of the more underrated directors of the 80s and 90s. I believe he also made Point of No Return a couple years after this, which has some similar aspects, I guess you could say. I believe he made Short Circuit. I believe he made War. I believe he made called Nick of Time with Christopher Walken and Johnny Depp. But yeah, go over his filmography. He also did, I believe, The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox, and so John Badham definitely is adept at making a variety of different thrillers, action, comedy, dramas. I mean, he made Saturday Night Fever. He's in the modern era that never really gets, talked about. I know he's a teacher now at Chapman College in Orange County, California, which is a school I've been involved with in the past. So it's nice to know that he's providing tutelage, but providing $50,000 a year or so. So maybe he can get some big screen play or big movie. John Badham, he does a really excellent job on this movie, and I would say the late '80s and '90s, he was probably a pretty big acquisition if you could add him to a movie. A lot of different successful films that he's been involved in. Some flops, such Mel Gibson coming off of Lethal Weapon 1 and Lethal Weapon 2, and also having been in Air, and making Tequila Sunrise, ironically, with Goldie Hawn's husband at the time, and still, I believe, Kurt Russell. I don't know if they're married, but they've been together all these years. Starting, I believe, in 1985 or 87. Swing Shift, and then they were in Overboard as well. So anyway, Mel Gibson's making the rounds here. It goes from Kurt Russell and Michelle Pfeiffer for Tequila Sunrise to Bird on a Wire. I mean, it really, really is. He's a drug dealer in the 60s and living this free style with Goldie Hawn and some other schmageg. They look like they're all kind of friends, platonically, and the drug business, kind of like in Blow, I guess, similar to that movie Blow. And all of a sudden, some bullshit happens, and I think the guy dies, he's dead, and all of a sudden, one day in modern times, she sees him somewhere at some gas station, and she's some like high-powered executive working with a company. And, that story doesn't really go, but it turns into basically an action comedy because I wouldn't say it's because they just basically kind of cross paths, and he denies who he is at first, and then she actually saves his life because Bill Duke and Keith Carradine come to kill him at the gas station, and like I'm saying, they end up killing the whole gas station. They kill the black guy that he's working for, and they blow up the whole thing, and they would have blown him up too, if not for something she does. I forget, like she either honks the horn at the right time or drives off with him in it, because he would have gotten shot to death probably or blown up if she wasn't right there to drive off. So then he gets shot in the ass, and then I think some people have seen these parts where they gotta like pull the bullet out of his rear end. So that's like a big physical scene of the movie, maybe a 10-15 minute process. They probably could have done away with that a little bit, 4 minutes lesser of the whole veterinary part, because it turns out that they go to this veterinarian that he knows, and he's had a relationship with her. And some effective parts as I look at the movie, kind of in the background here, is Goldie Hawn and the flashbacks of how their life was, just kind of 60s or I guess 70s, whenever this free love time was they're in. Seems like good times. And, that here you got this Asian guy that's part of her business profile that she's involved with and all that. I thought that those scenes, they're just Japanese or Chinese involved in almost every business scene in every movie from that time period, and if they're not, then they're talked about at least. So yeah, what's effective about the movie? The constant chase, the fact that Stephen Tobolowsky's a turncoat FBI, he's like the guy you check in with when you're on witness protection, and he throws him under the bus. I think Goldie Hawn's performance is good. I don't know if it's that believable that she'd give up her whole, business endeavors and all that, some big merger or something going on with some old guy that's definitely in need of help, right? I mean, she already rescued him, though, is the key that I would point out there. But I do think they have her over a barrel at a certain point of the movie, because they have her over a barrel. But they could have done that maybe like from the beginning. So it's like they could have made their paths colliding a little bit more collision-y, I guess. But yeah, I think that when they are on screen together, the chemistry is fantastic. It's underrated how good the chemistry is between Goldie Hawn and Mel Gibson on screen. The chemistry between Duke and David Carradine as the villains, and just the interplay in general with all that, no doubt very, very effective. Also, showing the life of a witness protection guy, working as like a hairstylist, when working as a mechanic. They show different parts of his life when he's on the lam. I think that's kind of interesting. And then I think the finale and the flens and everything just really ties the movie together really well. Makes it almost a beautiful full circle type deal about how they were, in a way, or not even. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but The finale is done at a zoo or a wild animal indoor park type deal. A really cool sequence. Um, bunch of big lighting and different entanglements involved in it. It's like a finale or part of Eraser, which is at the Central Park Zoo. But anyway, yeah, for anyone that's never seen Bird on a Wire, I don't really know if I need to spoil it all too much, but about Goldie Hawn intervening when she finds an old friend of hers being in trouble as drug dealers find where he is in the witness protection program, and then as they go on the run, come across this old veterinarian, this hot ass chick that he used to bang, and she plucks a bullet out of his rear end. I believe they get kind of like medicated, and he has to get all medicated for that, and then they basically to survive the rest of the movie. Hair is kind of odd. It's the typical mullet that he had in that era, but like put into like a casual bun, but then the mullet's still there. So it's like a bun's there, and then there's still a mullet attached to the bun. She's pretty fucking hot in the movie. I mean, I really love Goldie Hawn, especially in the era. Up till like I guess Out of Towners or a couple years before Out of Towners, she was still looking pretty darn good. And I know she's not really in movies as much now. I mean, she made a couple ones. I wouldn't mind with it. I didn't want to see it at the time though, and I probably don't want to see it. It almost seems similar to this in a way, but instead of Mel Gibson, it's stupid Amy Schumer. Anyway, that's enough about Bird on a Wire. John Badham movie from the early 90s, and I totally enjoy it. Some really good action and explosions in it as well. Thanks so much.